friends, Namaste. You're watching Nepal Next and my name is Rosina Rai. Today we have a very special guest, His Excellency Hanan, the Ambassador of Israel to Nepal. Shalom, Your Excellency.
Namaste, Shalom.
Shalom. So it's really pleasure. It's really great pleasure you have joined our talk show, and thank you for your time and grateful at the same time. Now, I really would love to start our conversation on seriously by putting forward a beautiful yet so very simple question. What did you think about Nepal before when you landing here?
Wow, this is a very complicated question because Nepal in Israel is a very exotic name. And actually, when you tell to many Israelis if they would choose a place, a destination, they would pick Nepal. By the way, it is the same for many Nepalis. When you tell them to pick a destination, many of them will pick Israel. So I think that the image of Nepal in Israel is a very exotic place.
So diplomatic relationship between Nepal and Israel were established in 1960. And Nepal is the first country, South Asian country, to recognize Israel. Since then, Nepal and Israel are enjoying cordial people-to-people relationship. Now my question is, how do you feel? What does it feel to be an ambassador in this country which has a great relation, a special relation with Israel?
Let me tell you that not only the relations were established in 1960, Nepal was the first one and the only one for many years, maybe 30 years, from this part of the world to have relations with the state of Israel. Israel will never forget our good friends from so many years in the difficult times. So these relations, these countries, these bilateral relations are going hand in hand for so many years, and I think it's good. I think we have good relations and it is very much appreciated.
So I really want to start from your favorite thing, and I'm loving this question actually here. I hope you're going to laugh. What is your favorite Nepali food? And what is your favorite place in Nepal? And would you love to suggest and recommend Israelis to visit, to make their next visit over here in Nepal?
My favorite food is momo. And please don't ask me whether it will be veg momo or buff momo or chicken momo or any other, because it depends on the day for each day of the week. But definitely the Nepali momos are traditional. I mean, it's a delicatessen. It's wonderful food, and I think that many Israelis, when are coming here, are taking it. And by the way, when you are going to visit Israel, you will find a Nepali restaurant in Israel that is giving momos, because we can't live without momos these days. Regarding the location, this is also a very difficult question because your mountains are amazing. Regarding the beautiful places, this is a very difficult question because your country has so many treasures, whether it is the Everest or the Makalu or the Kanchenjunga or the Jugal Range, or the Langtang, or the Manasulu, or the Ganesh, or the Dhaulagiri, or the Annapurna. Listen, it's very difficult to make a choice between all these range of amazing nature places. All of them.
All of them. Your history of Nepal, staying in Nepal, clearly says you have spent quite a long time here, since 2011, as far as I know, and correct information. You have joined here in 2011. So you have spent quite a long time here. What do you think, what do you like the most about Nepal?
I'll tell you, I mentioned already that the treasure of the nature, but you have another treasure. And the second treasure in Nepal is the people. The friendly people, the good aspect, the good atmosphere. Here, I know It's not always easy and sometimes even difficult, but I think that the people here in Nepal are the second asset, the second treasure that Nepal has. So it's a combination of the nature and the people and the culture and the language and the traditions. All these together create an amazing, amazing Nepal.
There is no doubt Israel and Nepal, these both countries shares amazing bilateral relationship. So in your opinion, and this is your second term office as an ambassador in Nepal, so in your opinion, what makes Nepal and Israel relationship that special?
This is true. Relations are built on two legs. One leg is the bilateral relations, and the second part is the multilateral relations, which is much less famous because it is happening in international organizations. Regarding the bilateral relations, there are so many aspects of cooperation. There is the issue of tourism, the issue of investments, the issue of scholarships, this issue of agriculture, cooperation on health. I should also mention when there was the terrible earthquake in 2015, Israel was the first country within 36 hours after the earthquake to send 4 planes with 200 doctors and medical team and we established a field hospital in Chauni with the army. So all kind of bilateral issues are going on and I think this is a lovely cooperation. And again, maybe I didn't mention all the aspects of cooperation, but there are so many cooperation that is going on, and the bilateral relations are very warm and very friendly.
Mentioning these two amazing facts, Nepal is one country which has highest point on earth, Sagarmatha, and Israel is another small country unlike Nepal, which has lowest point on earth, Dead Sea. So coming to tourism, you're talking about tourism. What do you think about the prospect of tourism between Nepal and Israel?
I didn't plan this question, but I'm very glad that you took this question. And I don't know whether it is possible to show these stamps on your camera if you can zoom in. And if not, I'm sure that later on you will be able to do it. These are stamps that Nepal and Israel have issued. You can look at it. Nepal and Israel have issued on the Everest, the highest place, and the Dead Sea, which is the lowest place. And this is a matter of friendship between the highest and the lowest, the extremes. And I think this is an amazing cooperation because although we are very far, we are very close. On top of that, of this stamp, we also took stones from the Everest, not from the top, but from Kalapatar. 2 stones from the Everest, and we located them in the Dead Sea. You have 9 square meters of Nepali territory in the Dead Sea with a monument to combine. And at the same time, the same date, we established a monument in Everest, in Namche Bazaar, with 2 stones coming from the Dead Sea. So this is a lovely cooperation of the highest and the lowest, the Dead Sea and the Everest, 8848 and minus 422, as you can see on the stamps. So this cooperation is very nice, and we are encouraging people to come and take a photo in Everest and to visit the Dead Sea and to put it on their Facebook together, the highest and the lowest.
Okay, we have talked about tourism. I want to come in the section of agriculture. Israel is one great example to share, and I do personally share a lot about Israel. And Israel has done a lot in the area of modernization in the sector of agriculture. And now question rise, Nepal being an agriculture country itself, how can Nepal take advantage of the advancement in your country, Israel?
The most important lesson is the concept. And this is the most important message that I would love to give people here. Agriculture is not a hobby. Agriculture is a business, a profession, and a way of life. And this is how we have managed to modernize the agriculture in Israel. And this is the message that we are giving to the farmers. If you want to prosper, you have to put 1 rupee, then you can collect 5 rupees. If you don't invest, you will not collect. And this is what we are sharing the experience with Nepali farmers, with Nepali students, with those that go to Israel. We have established 10 years ago a program called Learn and Earn. The students go to Israel for 1 year training. 1 year training. And during this year, they are busy in working on the job training, getting salary, Israeli salary. 1 day a week, they go to the college and they make research and have classes inside the college. And they come back with 3 important messages. 3 important things that they take from Israel. They take money, they take knowledge, and they take culture of work. Because in Israel, if you look at Nepal, I think 60%, 65%, 70% are farmers. In Israel, only 3% are farmers. And the 3% of the farmers produce food to the 97%. And Israel is exporting food. And this is the important thing that we want to give the message. You cannot stay with the traditional farming. Sorry to say, forget it. Maybe it is exotic. It is not bringing money. If somebody thinks that he can do agriculture today, 2021, the same agriculture like his grandfather, no way. Your neighbors, your competitors will flood you with their merchandise, with their vegetables, with their fruits, with their rice. Forget it. You have to go forward to modernize. These 3,000 students, farmers that went to Israel came back to Nepal. And wherever I go now in Nepal, I see greenhouses, I see cash crops, I see investments, and I see happy farmers. Krishi Rakushi. I see happy farmers. Why they are happy? Because they invested and they take money. Farming can be a very, very incoming, benefiting profession.
Your Excellency, can you tell us more about similarities? That question I'm going to ask is that what are the other similarities that Israel and Nepal shares together?
Thank you very much. When Nepalis and Israelis are sitting and talking, in 5 minutes there is a click. And I will tell you the similarities. Yes, we have different climate. We mentioned we have the highest and the lowest, and you have monsoon and we have the desert. It's different. But we are both small nations between big nations. And when you are a little goat, like Israel or like Nepal, and you are standing like between big elephants, you have to be careful. You have to protect your interests. You have to look all the time to make sure that your interests are kept. And this is something that is very similar. Nepalis and Israelis are proud about their culture, about their language, about the tradition, about who we are and what we are. And the religion, and many different aspects. I mean, you can count it. And again, not that the neighbors want bad things, but if we do not keep what we have and what we are, we will not be what we are at the moment. And this is something that Nepali people and Israeli people are very proud. We are very proud nations because of this. And I think this is a very, very important similarity.
Mm-hmm. So as I said, this is your second term as ambassador in Nepal. I want to ask question, is there any other areas where Nepal and Israel can cooperate with each other in the coming days, in the future?
The cooperation on bilateral issues is excellent. We are in the middle, almost the end of the process of sending people on caregiving to Israel. More than 1,000 people are going to Israel, I hope, during next month to start working. And this is a very important cooperation because this will affect 1,000 Nepali families and 1,000 Israeli families. Because when these people go to Israel, it is changing the life again of the Israeli families and the Nepali families. And let me mention why Israel is such a prestigious, such a wanted site, location for Nepalis. In Israel, there is no difference between Nepali worker and Israeli worker. You cannot discriminate the Nepali worker on what the Israeli worker is getting. My daughter is earning the same salary like the Nepali workers that are coming to Israel. Same conditions of work, same number of vacation days per year, same medical insurance, same treatment. There is no distinction. So this is putting Israel in a very high place in Nepal, and this is the reason why many Nepalis are eager to go to Israel, and I'm sure this will be the first group, and I'm sure in the future we will work on more and more people that will go for this very wanted destination.
So this one is question I have left lastly in the list, and I should not forget to ask this question definitely about Nepali national anthem. Recently on July 5th, you have translated Nepali national anthem into Hebrew language. And it's amazing. We all Nepalese are so grateful for that, and we feel so honored at the same time. And you read this and you have handed over to its original writer Bakul Maila. I want to ask, what was the inspiration for you to translate that into Hebrew language, and what was the response out there?
The response was amazing, and people are so eager. It was lovely initiative. We got it here at the embassy, and I said, listen, this is part of history. He's with us. And the anthem, which I read, first it was translated to English. I said, it's lovely words. It's a combination of everything, of the terai and the hills and the mountain. Your country is so rich with so many things. Let's expose it. So this is, I think, it was not translated to many languages. I think only to English. I'm not sure. I did not check. So now we are working, and later I will give you also a little clip of one Nepali singer that is making a performance with both languages, with both anthems, the Nepali anthem and the Israeli anthem together. So this is a lovely opportunity to show, and I think this is the love between the nations. It's there.
And let's wish, and let's have a wish, this kind of relation, between our two countries will go on and on and on for centuries and centuries. Let's have a wish.
Let me call Nepalis to appreciate the treasure that they have. People here think that the treasure, well, it's a gift from Creator. There is no question. People hardly appreciate it. People neglect it. We have one world. We have small countries, Nepal and Israel. Keep it and preserve it. Now, modernization is important, but also the environment. If we do not keep our countries beautiful, our children, our grandchildren, not even our grandchildren, our children and maybe us will suffer. We see already in your neighboring countries the ecological, the environmental catastrophe. Keep your country clean, keep the treasures. It's amazing. Keep your treasures, keep the plastic where it's supposed to go, keep the streets clean, keep the mountains safe, keep the nature, keep the animals, because if we will destroy it, it will be destroyed. I know that in Nepal you have one of the highest percentages of nature reserves, of places that are protected. What about your children? Kathmandu, keep the air clean, keep the environment clean. I hope that this is going to change, and I know I'm really grateful for those who are involved in it.
Thank you so much for this beautiful message and very relating with nature, which is my favorite. Thank you so much. Toda.
Toda, dhanyabad.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely meet in next episode. Thank you. Take care.